Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. Get some weed in now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Bum 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 bum. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. It is I, Colton Robertson, and you are back for the season finale of Winter is Blooming. It's season 1, baby, and it's coming to a close. I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. It is nice and late, very late at night. It is our first podcast in some time. I've been dealing with an illness, which has not been fun, and you might be able to hear it in the sound of my voice, and but it's better than it sounded in days. So I was itching to get back on the pod, so we're going to go ahead and fucking do it. Fire and Blood, the 10th and final episode of season 1 of Game of Thrones, written by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, D&D, and directed again by Alan Taylor, just like last week. Speaking of the MCU, we were talking a lot about off mic. Alan Taylor, Thor the Dark World, a lot of connections to what you were talking there.
It's all connected. No.
It's all connected. But this was our first season finale on the journey. And boy, oh boy, yeah. This one does not disappoint. It's a biggin. Definitely one of the more memorable last moments. But beyond that, I didn't remember a lot. And I think with reason. You know, it is truly, it's very, very setup heavy for what's coming. And because there's a lot coming. It's with good reason that there's a lot of setup.
That's what the season kind of was. It was just a way to build the world. It was just a massive world building season that also happens to have a super good story that goes along with it. But that's the thing, is that the story of this entire season is Bran saw Cersei and Jaime fucking, so he had to push him out the window and kind of started a war. But it's only been the very, very beginnings of that. And yes, we did have Ned die, last episode. Rest in peace to our boy. We don't have him anymore, which is really sad.
No more Sean Bean. That makes me sad.
I guess one more cameo this episode, maybe. I don't know how they made that. Yeah, I know. I don't know how they made that, but
I actually do. That is a prosthetic. They created it's not like CG'd. It is a literal built head that exists.
You think Sean Bean got to keep that? Or who do you think has, do you think someone has that still?
This is a crazy thing to know. It's actually kept in a warehouse, full of just random props and visual effects from Hollywood history, and it's kept alongside a prosthetic head of George W. Bush.
So there's a building in the world that has a bunch of movie props in it, and there's probably a section of just heads of famous people, and so happens that this head of Sean Bean is next to George W. Bush.
Yes.
Bush is, for what?
I don't remember if the George W. Bush one was in the best taste, if I recall. If it was used for the best. I believe that it was also used in Game of Thrones, and they had to CGI augment it because it was on one of those spikes.
Did they try to get away with putting George Bush's head on a spike, and then they were like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah,
Change it.
I think that's what happened. But
That's what season 1 really is, testing the limits of network television.
Yeah, it wants to know what it can get away with. But this was a fucking goodie. This was actually the first, and from now on I will be doing this because holy shit, I didn't realize it made a difference, but it does. This was the first one I watched on the newly received Blu-rays.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about that, how that was.
Oh,
so it does make a difference. Okay.
It does. I did a little bit of a switch, like a side-by-side to just see. I got to a shot at the beginning of the episode where like Lewin breaks the news to Bran and Osha that he goes like, Bran, and it's like snowing, and I was like, oh, this is a pretty shot. Let's see what the difference is. The colors are richer, the contrasts are deeper, the darks are darker, the lights are lighter. It's just all around a better looking experience and a better sounding experience. Streaming, you're only getting so much out of it, as it turns out. Which, I mean, I'm not going to like swear by Blu-rays. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's the only way I watch things now. No, I mean, like, it'll be the only way I watch Game of Thrones from here on out because I have the means to.
That is nice. Yeah,
but that's the thing. I watched 9 episodes of the show and thought it looked fucking great. So it's like, whatever.
The audio, that would be nice. This would be a show that would benefit from really nice audio, like in the later seasons too. Like for all the action, even like would be really nice. But
the
mostly
one I'm
just
specifically excited for with these Blu-rays is The Long Night, season 8, episode 3, because it's so dark. Like the dark scenes in this, I can see fucking clear as day.
That's actually a game changer.
I cannot wait to see that episode on these Blu-rays.
That's gonna be sick. Because that is one. This Game of Thrones is pretty dark. Like just overall,
very naturally lit show. Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess I've never had like, oh my god, I literally can't see what's going on. But like, it's like this in the back of my mind that it's like, man, it could be a little bit brighter. Like I don't know why, but it's
the
like,
King in the North scene in this episode. Really dark. And I think you can see fine. It's not like it's anything crazy, but on those Blu-rays, it's crystal clear. I can see every single person in that room. It's kind of crazy. It was just a whole new way to experience it. And I didn't realize that it was a whole new way to experience it. You know, like I was just kind of like, this will be cool. I'm excited to have these for the commentaries and stuff. And I'm actually going to start from here on in doing my best to, I think every episode has a commentary. I'm going to do my best to watch the episode, then watch it with a commentary, and then come to the podcast so I can bring whatever they're bringing.
They do those commentaries actually, like, they dive pretty deep into some really, like, big scenes. That was just, like, I don't know, like, just watching a couple of those, even, like, after House of the Dragon, like, I'm like, oh, man, like, wow, that gave, like, I did not take that scene that way during the episode, and then hearing it from the director, I'm like, oh, that makes so much more sense. Like, I know sometimes it's helped just understand the show a lot better.
100%. 100%. Well, that's another important thing is that, like, what the creator intended is obviously important, but the way you take it is equally as important. Whatever way you perceive the show, it's valid, you know, like whatever you take it to be saying, it's saying, at least for you, you know. I think that's the fair way to view all things art, all movies, all shows, all books, all paintings, for like anything. If you perceive it to say one thing, it's saying that one thing, you know. So I think that's fair. But are you ready for a semi scene by scene breakdown of our first season finale of the whole shitteroo?
Let's do it. Where are we starting?
We're starting in the thick of it in King's Landing.
Okay.
Yes, we're kicking it off where this episode kicked it off, at the Great Sept of Baelor, where Ned Stark has been executed. His body lay limp, his head lifted by Sir Ilan Payne, ice covered in blood, dripping in blood. Very, very disappointing sight. quite the sad sight to see. And Sansa's fainted. Yoren is dragging Arya away, making a point. Oh boy, you're gonna be a smart boy, huh? You're gonna be a good boy. Come on, let's go, boy. And once he gets her out of there, he cuts her hair with a knife. She's like, I'm not a boy. And he's like, you're not a smart boy, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, he's very, this was just very quick. He was very quick to this. Just very instant, and very clutch. This was very, Arya was like, what's going on? And then she's like, oh, okay, this sucks, but I guess I get, I get it now.
Well, there are layers to it, Ned knew that he's a man of the Night's Watch, and one of the only places in the realm he'll be safe from the Lannisters, or she'll be safe from the Lannisters, is at the Wall, with her brother, or even in Winterfell, but
imagine
she
that.
goes on quite a journey before she gets there.
Imagine she actually joins the Night's Watch. Imagine from here. How young can you be? Is there an age limit? Can you go at any?
There's that little fucking kid. He's not a wildling. He's just a fucking villager who lives nearby. Ollie.
Did Jon have to? Oh yeah, no, that's right. There was was he actually did he take the vow?
I don't know if he took the vow. That's a good question. We'll have to look out for it this time around, but we've never seen a child this young make it to the Wall. It does look like they're accepting the likes of Hot Pie, who is not an old kid. He's a young lad.
True.
Certainly younger than fucking Robert's bastard son, Gendry.
Yeah.
I was having a tough time there. But yes, any hoozle. Let's continue. He cuts her hair down with a knife, and he tells her that he will get her out of King's Landing and into Winterfell as a recruit of the Night's Watch. And he warns her not to trust anybody else, none of the other recruits, because half of them would hand her over to Cersei for a pardon, and the other half would do the same, but they would rape her first.
Eesh. Harsh reality.
Harsh reality of the Night's Watchmen heading north from King's Landing. They're not the nicest bunch here. Oh, they're not by any means.
Mm-mm.
But next up, we see Joffrey holding court on the throne, and a singer is brought before him, and he sings one of the funniest songs in all of the show about how Robert's balls were eaten by the lion and the boar did all the rest. And it says that the boar might have killed the lion, or might have killed King Robert, but the lion in his bed had already eaten his balls. And the singer turns out to be Marillion. This is actually the guy who we saw earlier at the crossroads, who was like, Catelyn, let me sing a song for you.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he would have been better off.
Man, this poor guy just had to be around when Joffrey was king, That's just it's a bad time to be around.
Bad time to be a person in King's Landing.
Yeah.
Or anywhere in the Seven Kingdoms.
It's a bad time to exist in general.
Bad time for a ruler here. But Joffrey asks him, he's like, that's quite funny. Probably was much better received at the taverns you performed it in. Everyone's a little afraid to laugh right now. Tell me, which do you prefer? Your hands or your tongue? And he's like, I mean, a man needs his hands, your grace. He's perfect. Your tongue it is, Sir Ilyn. Who more fit than the man without a tongue to bring me his tongue? Come on now. And he's like, you know what? That's it for me. I'm done for the day. Love cutting out tongues. Sansa, come on.
Incredible how quickly they get you to hate Joffrey.
It's so quick. And
there was that maybe redemption, of when he had that conversation with Sansa, and he's like, I'm actually going to be a good I'm gonna be good, babe.
Yeah.
I'm turning a new leaf. If I'm gonna be king, I can't be this way. I have to make this change. Let me show you your dead father's head on a spike and make you look at it as long as it please. Like, dude, he already. I hate you for chopping off this dude's tongue. Like, poor dude, But just, God, I'm already hating you. And then,
And then for him to be like, Sansa, come on. And he's excited. He's not like,
yeah, he's having fun with it. Yeah, he's having
not
fun.
being grave or anything. He's like, I got something to show you. Come on now. Oh, it's fine. Come on. And one thing I really love about these scenes is how much the Hound is looking out for her without her realizing it. Even in this moment, whenever he's like, follow me, Sansa. And she just stands there for a second and the Hound's like, come on, hun, please do what you're told or else I might have to do things to you also. And I do not want that. I have no interest in hitting you. I have no interest in you being harmed, little bird.
Hound's, yeah, he's a real one.
I love me the Hound, man. He's a great character. And was a top candidate. A couple of top candidates early on for favorite character this episode were Yoren and the Hound. I think they're both really cool in this episode. Obviously, very tiny roles in this episode, but nevertheless, I think they do a lot of really admirable shit with their few scenes.
Yeah,
and I haven't really decided on favorites.
I only have my scene and line. I haven't decided on my character and performance yet.
I think I've decided on my line and. I think I've decided on line, performance, and scene. Character is the only thing that's really up in the air for me at this point. But nevertheless, after he takes her, he takes her to look at the head, mounts it on a spike, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get Rob's next. I'm gonna show you that too." And then she says, "Maybe he'll bring me yours," and that is my line. That one was my line. I love her clapping back at him there. And the performance Sophie Turner puts on here is fantastic. When she first shows up and looks away in horror, and then she's forced to look up, so she just hardens herself and looks and is like, "How long do I have to look, Your Grace?" "As long as it pleases me." And she's like, "All right, fine, I'll do that then." He makes a snide remark. She makes a snide remark back, and a very good example of how big of a bitch Joffrey is. He's like, "Well, it's not very kingly of a man to put his hands on his lady. So, you know what, Meryn Trant, go ahead and hit her across the face a couple times."
Oh my God! This is the first. At least I'm of the impression that this was Joffrey's first time of him asking, "Hit Sansa for me," because he's like, "This isn't very kingly for me to do, so please do this for me." It's this sounds like it's the first time that he's asking for this.
Yeah,
this dude took his opportunity to the max.
Do you remember anything about this guy?
Only this. But no. I mean, not in the future. No.
This is top tier, one of the sickest fucks in the show.
What does he do?
I will not. We will get there. But
how soon? How far away is it?
Pretty far down the line. I think season 5 is when you see truly just how sick of a fuck he is. Because he's not big. He's not a big character. He pops in, he pops out.
I'll be thinking about it all. I'll never come up with it.
Well, I'll give you one in the meantime. You remember that scene a little bit later on where Joffrey makes a dude rip Sansa's clothes off in court?
Okay.
That's this guy. Also, he's very, very cool doing that.
Yep, I bet he's jumping onto that.
Yeah, so he's a sick fuck. And
Eesh.
Yep, slaps her across the face a couple of times. Sansa eats those hands too, by the way. Absolutely
Holy,
those punches.
yeah. Oh my god.
She's a beast. Absolutely pimp. And then she decides then, because Joffrey's like, you best learn to, obey. Cersei says we're going to be wed. So, you better learn. And then she looks down and I'm thinking like, oh no, this poor girl, she's thinking about jumping, just ending it all. No, she's thinking about pushing Joffrey. And I remember, when that came about, I remember the first time I was watching this, just going like, oh, please do it.
Please.
Please do
it. Please. Like,
and then being pissed at the Hound for stopping her, but this time being able to watch it and go, he's saving her a lot of trouble.
Yeah. And Joffrey gets his, I wish it could have happened sooner. I wish it could have happened at conception. But like, he does get it pretty good and publicly too, and embarrassingly. So I'm okay with it. Like it's a thing you got to wait for, and we were kind of waiting this whole season for Ned to die. It's like a bad thing to wait for, but that's a thing that we like are looking forward. That's one of that we're like, oh, I can't wait for Joffrey to die.
Wait to be done with this fuck.
Oh my god, I can't wait for that guy to die and choke and the purple wedding.
We've got him for like another 23 weeks.
Oh.
It's going to be a while.
That's half a year, man. That's a lot. That's a long time.
It's a long time, but
eesh.
It'll be sweet. It'll be sweet when it gets here.
Mm.
But obviously the Hound stops her, wipes the blood from her lips, and tells her, make it easy on yourself. Just give him what he wants. Which is also kind of like a layered thing coming from the Hound. Like he's just making shit easy on himself and just giving the king what he wants, just giving the boy what he wants. And it's obviously different for a lady like Sansa.
Yes, it's crazy. It's like, that's his wife. Like, soon to be wife, like.
His betrothed.
That's just nuts. Like that dude, Joffrey is like the most stereotypical.
He's an incel.
Yeah. I mean, like.
He's a king that is incel.
God, why? Like, it's like, they know just the exact strings to pull to make you hate him so much more.
Oh, and they're perfect at it. They're perfect at it. They know exactly how to make this kid the sickest fuck you've ever seen. And this actor is incredible at playing it, by the way. He's a great actor. And no longer acting.
Can't go anywhere. Yeah. Yeah, he probably can't go anywhere.
He's one of those dudes who would get booed when he was on the fucking street.
That's
just
so
walking
bad.
around.
That's bad. Is that's it honestly is like a compliment though to his performance or the writing of the character. I don't know. Maybe it's I guess anyone.
Jack Gleason. Oh, he just got married a few months back. Good for him.
Wow.
Got married in September. Yeah, and we'll also be seeing him before long in our comic book journey through film because he plays a tiny, tiny role as a young boy in Batman Begins. I always remember that every time I watch Batman Begins, I see him and I'm like, oh my god, that's Joffrey fucking Baratheon.
No way. And Batman Begins?
Yep, he's just a fucking kid. You'll see him and you'll recognize him immediately because he looks like Joffrey Baratheon.
That'll be fun. Huh.
That'd be a fun one. But yeah, nevertheless, moving on from that, we then get to a scene that we talked about a few weeks back that you did not recall at all. But Cersei Lannister has taken a lover, and it's her cousin, Lancel.
Yeah. Yep. Just casually. Like, okay.
And he's like, Oh man, was war this fun the last time we went to war when you were young? I'm a little fucking dipshit.
So weird. It's like, is Cersei like, it doesn't seem like she's like into it. Or maybe, I don't know. She just like, she seemed like she just didn't want to be there.
I take it to be Cersei has needs.
And Jaime's gone.
She wishes they were fulfilled by Jaime. And the closest she can get to that connection is another family member, which is, like, that's the thing. This is what makes her, this single act, this single scene makes her entire romantic interest in Jaime interesting. Like, it's,
yeah.
her romantic interests in general interesting. Like,
is it, so is her, maybe her, she's just so bloodline, like, I don't even know what to, like, crazy. Like, that's all she cares about. She is like, she only cares about it being Lannister blood. That's it. Doesn't matter who. But, like, Jaime, obviously, she's more connected with because she literally came out of the womb. And she says, is it her that says they came out of the womb together?
That's her.
Oh, that's her. Yeah, so, like, I feel like they both, she's in love with him more, I feel. I guess, I don't know, this season, this rewatch, it's been surprising. Like, Jaime's love has actually been shining through a lot more this season. Like, he's been the one to actually be like, I would go to the ends. You know, he's been like, all the, you know, like the...
I firmly believe that maintains throughout the show. There comes a point where she worries a lot more about a lust for power, and he's like, we could just go. Like, he does the whole Kristen Cole to Rhaenyra thing. Like, we could just go across the sea. We could live the rest of our days in peace. I think it comes when their children are dead, and he's making like one last, like, come on, let's leave. Like, we don't have to do this anymore. And she's like, no, I'm going to be queen and I'm going to fuck these hoes up. You know, like, she does one of those things, and it's like, well.
Oh, they'll die together.
Yep, they do. And that's one of the things that makes me go, I really think he loves her a lot more than she loves him, and it makes it hurt even worse when he decides to go back.
Yeah. He was on a good run at the end there, Jaime was.
He was, like, that's the one thing that I think, no matter how fast you do it, it was done bad.
He's under rocks to, you know, just crushed. You know, like, not even, like, killed by someone. Not even, like, wildfire. Not even a sword. You know?
Not even Drogon.
Like, just crushed. In the dungeon.
Hey, man. It is what it is. Fuck you get what we give. But,
I guess we got a while for that. We got a while.
That is a while away. That's literally 7 season finales away.
Yeah. So we got a while.
We do have a while. But nevertheless, she is reading news of Jaime's capture at the hands of the Starks. And Lancel's mouthing away like, ooh, is that news of the war? Can you tell me what it is? What's the next move? And she's like, shut the fuck up. Get back in bed. Round 2, bitches.
Is that what she's meaning there? Or does she just mean like, shut up, get in bed? Like,
no. I think the get back in bed means we're getting back to it.
Wow.
I think that's what, like, she needs to fuck to clear her head. We talked about the bloodline thing being what does it for her. I think another thing that does it for her is her narcissism. I think she loves fucking someone who looks like her. Which is why she loves fucking her twin.
Oh, I've never thought about that.
Yeah, no, I think she is very, very full of herself, to the point where she is willing to to fuck anything that kind of looks like her. Yeah, she's a disturbing woman. A bunch of disturbing characters. And the fact that Lancel is just like all in. He's like, fuck yeah, let's do this thing.
That dude's just chilling. You know, as far as Game of Thrones characters go, yeah, he's a little, you know, he's got the incest card against him, but like other than that, he was a little kind of, you know, just very afraid kind of guy around Robert, but like now, he's like, now I can just do whatever I want. And he's taking full advantage of that. Yeah, I guess.
Cousin, sure. No, what's crazy is like, what we learned later is that this is Kevin's son.
Kevin? God, such a normal fucking name.
Yeah, who's Kevin Lannister, again? Who's up with like Tywin here before long.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So
that's Tywin's brother's son. They're first cousins. Insane.
I guess when you're up in a castle. That's the thing, though. They have the pick of anyone they want. It's not like their choices are limited. They have the choice of anyone.
Up in the castle. Yeah, up in the fucking castle. You know, like I don't know. Do what Grandmaster Pycelle does here in the next scene. Call a fucking prostitute. I don't know. He's got Roz. He's got Roz with him.
Let's fucking go.
In the next scene. And he's talking about, there's the thing you need to know about kings is, you see, I've known more kings, truly known more kings than any man alive. First there was Eris, who was a great young man, and there is truly nothing worse the gods do to us than madness. Watching him devolve in front of my eye was truly the horror of my life. And then there was Robert, who was a great soldier, but maybe not the best king. And that brings us to Joffrey. And only the gods know what he has in store, but he has a strong military mind. And it seems like he could be a great king. And Roz goes,
The thing?
So what's the thing? The thing? Yeah, you said what's the... Never mind. The thing? And she's like, I'm just gonna go. Like, he's like, okay, till next time. And then he gets up, fucking just walks right out of frame, does his whole little stretches, wiggles his hands, puts his chains on.
Why? They never come back? Like, this never pays off, does it?
No. I am of the mind that he thinks it makes him seem more wise than he is.
Oh, okay.
Like, can you imagine if he was just like strolling around the fucking castle like it wasn't shit? Like he enters the ring like he's fucking Vince McMahon. Like, I don't know. Like, he's just.
That's fair.
I guess that's how he carries himself.
I guess I was thinking more of like, he's very slow, loud, clanky with all the chains, everything. So like he would be very unsuspecting. Like it's just all an act in case he wants to use it for his advantage. But I guess that does make sense though. Like to seem more wise, to seem.
Just because it doesn't seem like he has any ulterior motives, you know? It's not like he wants the throne or anything, you know? It's not like he's secretly informing somebody. He just he's a dumbass who listens and he tells people things. Like, that's the thing about Pycelle is that I truly think he is the dumbest maester we ever meet. I think he is so fucking stupid. And, like,
Ross is literally leagues ahead of him already. Like,
yeah.
The thing, okay, that your point, like, is literally what she was saying. Like, look, can we talk about how Roz has climbed the ladder so fast? Oh my god. She came into King's Landing, boom, already a member of the council. Like, already. Although, yeah, true. It is an old, wrinkly fuck, old maester, whatever. But as far as that game goes, she's making so much money. That's like she's in the big leagues. Roz is the big leagues. I don't know. Roz might be my favorite character of the episode.
She rocks. She might be my favorite Game of Thrones character.
That'd be crazy. To have, just Tyrion, Arya,
season
Ned,
finale,
Daenerys, Roz. She's a badass, though. I gotta I'll give her the honorable mention. I can't, in my right mind, say my favorite character for the finale.
It's the way Yoren is my honorable mention here.
Yeah.
I don't think I can go with Yoren here, but do love him here. But, nevertheless, we cut to another great scene between Littlefinger and Varys, and you love whenever they speak. Littlefinger admonishing the throne and Varys walking up. When you picture yourself up there, how do you look? What do you see? And Littlefinger flips the question and asks the same thing of Varys, but Varys is like, I am fairly certain I'm one of the few people in the city who has no interest in being king. And Littlefinger quips, well, you're one of the few men in the city who isn't a man. And the way Varys is like, that's low-hanging fruit. You can do better than that, you pussy. And they have a whole conversation about what Varys has got going on below the belt. And he's like, oh, you spend a lot of time thinking about my genitals. A surprisingly topical conversation in this little scene between Varys and Littlefinger. Grown men being worried about what's in the pants of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Just insane. Just insane. It's just ridiculous. Who gives a fuck?
I love Varys' line of, where he's like, oh, I'm just honored that you're picturing me at all. He's like, his little comebacks are so good. It's like, oh, dude, come on, you can do so much better than
you
that.
spend a lot of time thinking about my fucking nuts, huh?
I love, and it's like, they end it with admiring each other. They're like,
oh yeah,
and we're both playing our roles, and goddamn, you're so good at what you do, and
like, you know what? You're so good at what you do, it's a little scary. I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm kind of frightened.
You're good at what you do too. And it's
because there is nobody in the realm to each of them who is a bigger threat to them. They are truly, their positions make them rivals. Like, Littlefinger has his network, Varys has his network.
That's true. Yeah.
Nobody else is very concerned about them. They use them to their advantage when they see fit to use them to their advantage. They use other people to their advantage. They're not worried about other people except each other. They're the only other person who it makes sense to be worried about. And I think it makes them just a fascinating dichotomy throughout this show.
I think the flaw that Littlefinger has is that he wants the throne, and he's trying to manipulate his way to the throne. Ultimately, that's his goal. Varys, he's not lying when he says, I don't want the throne. He's just smart enough to realize that it's not him that would sit there, but he can pull every string from the position that he's in. If he's the master of all information, he could hear one thing, tell them another. Like, he can control absolutely everything if he wants to. And then the little conversations he has, like with Ned, he literally got Ned to admit and be like, yeah, Joffrey's the king. I'm fucking dumb and I committed treason and I'm gonna go to the wall now. Thank you. I'm dumb Ned Stark. Idiot in front of all you guys. Like, Varys convinced Ned to do that, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Varys is just, he's such a cool, I love Varys, yeah.
It's an all-time Game of Thrones character for me, no doubt. And the way this scene ends, whenever they're like, and now they see Joffrey come in, and Varys goes, and now we serve the new king, and Peter takes the cue. He knows he's behind him. Long may he reign. And he turns around and greets him. I love that shit. They are so good at what they do. Every interaction they have. Conleth Hill and Aidan Gillen, just fucking fantastic playing off each other and as these characters. But that does conclude that scene, and we only have one more over in King's Landing, where Yoren has assembled a band of new recruits for the Night's Watch. What I like about this episode is that every place ends with them heading somewhere. They're like, it's time we go here. We're heading to a new place. This scene ends with them heading north. But he's told Arya to pretend to be a boy called Aerie, and he has her join the group. And Arya is immediately bullied by Hot Pie, who we know to be a massive softie, which is just hilarious that he is acting so fucking hard.
Hey, let that man cook, though. Literally.
Cook. Let him cook.
No one's named Hot Pie that doesn't know how to cook. You can't be named Hot Pie and either just not be a food connoisseur or just really good at cooking. But yeah, I don't know. It is funny, seeing all these characters now, this group, just the group of people that'll be around for a little bit as they stick together here.
They're home for a while.
Gendry, Arya, Hot Pie. I feel like there's one more big kind of person in there. Maybe it's kind
of them three. It's kind of them three.
Okay. Yeah. Is there another girl? No, they're all guys. Yeah, duh. So I don't know why I felt like there was another girl for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, they go a long way. Specifically Arya and Gendry. When Gendry pulls up to protect Arya here, and Hot Pie is a little bit intimidated by him.
I mean, he's like, I'm a blacksmith. I make that thing sing. Are you gonna sing when I hit you? And it's like, you know what? Okay. Yeah, you do swing a hammer all day, every day.
You probably jacked. I get it.
Okay, but, fair enough, man.
Yeah, he'd been working for Tobo Mott, but with Robert dead, the secret funds being sent to Mott had stopped. So he fired Gendry and told him he had to join the Night's Watch. And Hot Pie and Lami try to bully Arya into giving up her sword needle, but she angrily draws the sword and is like, I've already killed one fat boy. I will happily do it again. And Gendry breaks up the argument, takes Arya's side, and threatens the boys. And he looks at Arya and is like, that's a nice sword. Where'd you steal it? She's like, it's a gift. Which it is. Not a lie.
True. Smart word. Smart choice there.
Yep. She's got
can't be like, it's mine. I got it in my castle.
Yep. Nope. Not exactly how this works, but Yoren is like, let's get out of here, guys. We're heading to the wall. And we out. That's it for King's Landing this week. And it would bring us to Winterfell.
Ooh. Oh.
Bran is having another dream of the three-eyed raven. And I don't know that I've ever realized this, the way that they start the exact same every single time. Him in the exact same spot with the bow, the exact same stance, drops it the exact same way, the bird flies in the exact same spot. Like, everything happens the exact same up to a point, and he wakes and tells Osha about the dream, with her carrying him on his shoulders. And again, fucking love Osha, dude. What's not to love about Osha? She is just so fucking cool. I love that character so much. But
get any Hodors?
No Hodors. No.
Oh, okay. So that's the end of it. So the tally for the season is 4 plus a penis.
4 Hodors and 1 Hodor penis.
And no Arya kills. She didn't kill anything, not even an animal.
Not even an animal.
So for the season, just the random boy she killed and a pigeon.
All right. All right.
Okay, wow.
But, yeah, he tells Osha that the bird flew through the crypts under the castle, and that he tells her that he thinks his father is in the tombs. And Osha takes Bran down there, and Bran tells her about the histories of some of the ancestors in the tomb, including Lyanna, where we get a nice brief mention about Rhaegar Targaryen and everything that happened there. The story we all know, anyway. Not the story that's been told, not the story we know to be true. And then they are surprised when a direwolf leaps out at them from the empty future tomb of Ned Stark, with Rickon following close behind.
What's up with this kid?
And why do they just go, never mind? You know, they never give a shit about Rickon again.
Is it like...
I
really just think it's the actor, the kid actor.
I really don't think they thought he had the chops to pull off what they wanted to do with him.
I think in the books, does Rickon do anything in the books though?
He's a bit more prominent in the books. I need to catch up with where we're at, to be honest. I haven't been reading the last couple of weeks.
Remember, man, it's way too long for me to remember anything. The books and my show, they blend together way too much. So my book knowledge is basically zero. But yeah, I don't know. It was really weird just him being like, yeah, I had a dream. Saw my
dad here.
Saw my dad here in the crypt. Just right
I like
here.
The way that Osha looks at Bran like, yo, what the fuck? And I like to think that this is just kind of like the Three-Eyed Raven was reaching out to Bran. He went ahead and reached out to he connected Bran and Rickon, and just kind of it's not like Rickon also has the gift. It's just that he
maybe it was kind of like it braced them for the news of the actual them finding out. And maybe it was just the Three-Eyed Raven being like, all right, boys, I'm going to give you this dream. It sucks. Sorry, but let me brace you for the news real quick.
I think
because then, you get Maester walking in and being like...
Dude, yeah, the way that they walk out of there together, Bran on Osha's shoulders, and Osha being like, it only makes sense that he would be on your guys' mind. You're worried about your father. He's all right. It's no big deal.
Don't worry about it. It's all good. Everything's fine.
And then they see Lewin holding the letter and looks at them with much sadness. And,
ooh, you guys aren't gonna believe this. Your dad isn't fine at all. At least your brother has Jaime, though.
Yeah, right?
That's good. They're winning now.
We're winning the war, I guess.
Kind of. So...
we lost the head of our house.
We lost, the whole point of us starting this march was to, I guess we still have our sisters to get.
Yeah. Still got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does bring us to the end of the storyline in Winterfell, and then we are next in the Riverlands, where at the Stark camp, Catelyn has also been informed of Ned's death. And
she had to be strong. And she couldn't let anyone see her break, dude,
This was a hell of a performance by Michelle Fairley here, walking through stoically, everyone being like, oh, fuck yeah. Hi. Hello, my lady. And she walks through the encampment, and she makes her way into the woods around the camp, where she breaks down when she's out of everyone's sight, hyperventilating with grief, and she hears something deeper in the woods, and it's where she finds Robb hacking away at a tree with his sword in anger and in grief. And Catelyn calls to him and tells him he's ruined his sword, and Robb drops it and falls into her arms, vowing, I'll kill them all. I will kill them all. And Catelyn comforts him and promises him, we will save your sisters first. And then, yes, we will kill them all.
Mm.
And gotta say, Rob doing this here was the first time I've cried once on this rewatch. This was the second time. Like, this was just like, first it was Catelyn, and that got me like welling up, and then
Like,
seeing
oh,
Rob like
man,
breaking down and then hugging his
no.
mom.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah, like,
already sucks. You get like, oh man, they just told the little kids, the two little kids. Man, that sucks. They just found out. Oh man, now Catelyn just found out. This sucks. Oh, now Rob's swinging at a tree, all emotional, and
and then he hugs his mom, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill him."
It's like, no. I know I just said that my book knowledge is 0, but I don't know. I'm like faintly remembering like him chopping like almost through the tree, like he almost chopped the tree down, like that, or at least that might have been like the legend that was told. Maybe that like he did and he ruined his sword, and then the legend among the camp maybe was he almost chopped the tree down out of his anger with a sword. You know, with a sword, he almost chopped a tree down, like just to get like the king of the north. The king of the north almost chopped the tree down in his anger. I think I don't know. I feel like I remember that actually being part of the story, for some reason. But
yes. But next up at Rob's camp, Rob and his bannermen are debating whether to cooperate with Stannis or Renly in the war against King Joffrey, and the statement is that Renly has greater forces, but Stannis is the elder Baratheon, and that's the side Rob's on. You know, he's on the side his dad was. If Bran can't be Lord of Winterfell before I can, then Renly can't be king before Stannis.
Enter my boy Great John. Get this boy Great John. Just got his fingers chopped and is cool and is absolutely just a homie. I don't know. He's been cool. You know, another honorable mention for the character, Great John.
Great John Umber, man.
Yeah.
What a guy.
He's the first one to say it.
He goes, you know what? Why the fuck are we talking about kings right now? Oh, fuck all the dudes who want to rule from the south in their little flowery chair. I don't give a fuck about them. Even their gods are wrong. Fuck those fools. Only king I see is the one sitting in front of me. The king in the north. And let me tell you, bro. The first king in the north chant, I sat up and I went, Emily, I fucking love this show. I fucking love this show. The King of the North.
Oh,
the King of the North.
It's so good every time. Oh my god. It's like, you hear it and you're like, yeah. You're like, yeah, it's coming. I know it's coming. And then, you know, you get more people joining in. And you know whoever the second bannerman is, that chimes in or whatever. And yeah, Theon. Of course, Theon is like, am I your brother? Like,
yeah, he's like, my commitment to you is conditional, as long as you say that I am your brother for now and always, which makes his betrayal even fucking worse, because it's before Rob is dead. Rob's not dead when he does that. He's just being a fucking dick.
Yeah, that sucks. Hey, wow, what a vow, huh? What a vow you made, Theon.
Pussy.
Reek. Idiot.
Little bitch. Yeah, fuck Theon, but am I your brother now and always? And he's like, yeah, man, for real. Yeah, sure, I guess.
And then Great John, like after, like he just out of nowhere, like after Theon, that just gives it a good one, and it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, I needed that.
And then the shot of everyone kneeling when Rob's standing in the middle, and they're all, the King of the North, the King of the North. Oh God, I love the King of the North chant, man. It's the shit.
That's my line of the episode.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, they come on. It's
I gotta
the
change mine.
It might be the line of the season for me. I don't know, because I'm looking through my other lines. And I don't know. I don't think
there's a king in the north later on that makes me even more happy. So I'm gonna save it.
Okay.
But I am going to declare this my favorite scene. This was my favorite scene of the episode. Just because it's
King of the North.
I fucking love the King in the North chant, man. Nothing gets me as fucking hyped as the King in the North chant.
And Rob, the fact that he didn't expect Great John to go there. And he was, and then he's like, oh, for real? Like, he stood up, and then people were like, yeah, I'll pledge everything to you. I'll pledge my entire life and house and everything to you. You're the king now. And he's like,
the fact that they're like, we knelt to the Targaryens. We knelt to dragons. That's why we're in the Seven Kingdoms. We are finally in a situation with a person who is leading us, who we are willing to go, you know what? That's my king.
Great John did say, we're here because dragons ruled the throne, but all the dragons are dead now.
Not for long, Great John. Not for long.
At that time, it's basically the same time. It probably already happened.
Timeline-wise, yeah.
We don't really know, I guess. I take it all as happening at current time. Just at the same time. Around.
Give or take a few minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple seconds. They're probably off by a little bit, give them a little leeway, a couple seconds here and there, but
the dragons are dead simultaneously in Essos. The dragons are alive.
3 are born. Oops.
Oopsie, sorry, Great John.
I guess at the end of the day, they ultimately help the Stark House.
For a while.
And then they hurt everybody.
In King's Landing.
And in the north. There's an ice dragon.
That
does a lot of damage.
Didn't think about that one. Yeah, that one
puts
really
a hole in the wall. Kind of actually allowed that to happen.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
Allowed winter to really come. No,
for sure.
Yeah.
Shit. Next up, Catelyn visits a captive Jaime Lannister, and she's ready to just fucking kill him. She won't. She's ready to. She won't though. She's a strong lady. And she hits him in the head.
That was nice. That was nice.
It was. And Jaime's like, "Oh yeah, you can kill me if you want to. Just keep hitting me right there above my ear, and it won't take as long as you might think. You're strong as fuck. You're stronger than you look. You'll get me done nice and quick." And she's like, "Oh, that's what you want. You want everybody to think, huh? That you don't fear death." And he's like, "Oh, I don't. It's gonna come for all of us. Why fear it?" And Jaime probably realizes that the Starks won't kill him, and that's why he can talk such a big game, as long as they hold Arya and Sansa. And Catelyn tells him he's violated the laws of man and gods. And he asks, where were Ned's gods when his head was cut off? And she says, there is injustice in the world because of men like you. And Jaime responds, there are no men like me. Only me.
That was kind of badass, not gonna lie.
No, that's hard.
Yeah, it did go. I hate Jaime here, but dang.
No, it's hard.
Dang.
This is the first time I think not the first time, Nikolaj Coster-Waldau has played Jaime with a lot of nuance up to this point. Whenever she goes, what happened to Bran up in that tower, and him immediately, no hesitation, I pushed him. That's a man who's been wanting to confess. the first time someone asked him what happened.
That's true. And he couldn't say why, though, because she was like, why? And he's like, you need to go to sleep. You're tired. It's going to be a long war. I guess, obviously.
The first time she asks why, he goes, I'd hoped the fall would kill him.
That's true. Yeah.
He
is very honest about it.
It's a guy who wants to explain why he's done the things he's done, but can't. And it doesn't make him good. It doesn't make him good at all, but it makes him nuanced and an interesting character. And Nikolaj Coster-Waldau's choices to play him that way are fucking incredible. Like the face he makes when she does walk away. That's not a man who's happy with what he's done. That's a man who's like,
oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, of the lesser of two evils, like, Jaime is definitely less evil than Cersei. Like, of the twins, sure. I would much rather hang with Jaime. Even right now, at the states that they're in right now, Jaime gets way cooler. Than what he is right now. So, and Cersei only gets worse.
Gradual progression into just
she just gets really bad. So I don't know.
Sucks. She sucks balls. But
of the Lannisters, Jaime's not that bad. Tyrion's the best Lannister there is.
Far away.
But then Jaime's probably number 2. Lancel, maybe just for the meme. But he kind of sucks at the end of the day.
Lancel also becomes a religious fanatic.
Ooh, that's right. No, he's Cersei's the worst, but he's right there with him. Yeah,
Tywin's also not far. Tywin might be the only one I put below Cersei simply because he created her and made her the way she is.
Cersei, I didn't think of Tywin. Okay. That's good. That's good. What about the fucking House of the Dragon? He has a simple name too, doesn't he? He sucks.
Oh yeah. It's like Jeff or some shit. It's not. It's like Larry. No, it's not Larry.
Oh. House of the Dragon Lannister. Jason. Oh. Okay. Tywin at the very bottom. Cersei, pretty close. Jason, Lancel.
Jason and Jason's twin, because Jason has a twin in House of the Dragon.
That's right. Yeah. No way. Fuck them both. Yeah, they're right tied. And then Lancel.
Kevin, Jaime, Tyrion.
Kevin's okay. Yeah, Kevin's just the most average Lannister there is.
Middle tier Lannister.
Still fuck Kevin, but he can just come or go. Kevin, whatever. But Jaime, okay. That's where it starts to get kind of cool. And then Tyrion, obviously.
3 Lannisters, period. Just on a surface level, you're a pretty good... We haven't even talked about how Joffrey is technically pure Lannister. That might be below Cersei and Tywin. But top 3 Lannisters, if we're talking the kids, Tyrion, Myrcella, and Tommen. They're all cool.
Myrcella. That's right. Forgot about the children. Okay, yeah. There's a lot more Lannisters than I thought.
Yeah, they're technically Baratheons by name, but they're Lannisters by blood.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So they're not all bad.
In fact, 2 out of the 3 kids turn out really good, which is crazy.
Yeah, Tommen just couldn't take it. Yeah, Tommen, I guess he wasn't that bad. Yeah, and now that
he was a good kid. He was just easy to manipulate because he was a little kid who was king. That's all. Poor little guy.
Damn.
We will get there though. We will get there. In the end, Jaime ends up falling around 4 or 5. for me. But
Dang.
Nevertheless, at the Lannister camp, Lord Tywin is holding a strategy meeting with his generals and is furious that Jaime has been captured. Tywin's brother Kevin describes the war as a catastrophe.
God, it just sounds wrong.
It's so funny. I love it. Can you imagine naming your firstborn child Tywin and then being like, what's the second one going to be named? Fuck it. Kevin.
That's how it had to happen. Fuck it, Kevin. Literally, it's like, fuck it. I don't care. Like, this the second, like, I don't know. That is probably how it happened. Fuck it, Kevin. Or that's how George R. Martin just was, fuck it, Kevin. I don't know. Like, how in this universe, I don't know. I don't want to know how they even came up with the names that they did. You know?
It's so funny.
And then they just go with Kevin. Fuck it.
I love it. But in addition to Jaime's defeat, both Stannis and Renly have now claimed the Iron Throne and are fighting a war for it. And this means the Lannisters are now fighting a 3-front war instead of just the Starks. And that's a problem for them. Kevin and the other commanders debate whether to attack, fall back, or raise reinforcement armies, or sue for peace. And Tyrion's like, "Well,
Starks for peace. What do you guys think about that?"
And Tyrion's like,
"Clank,
yeah. You guys think we can just go? Oh, yeah, we know we killed the leader of your house, but maybe now we just call it a day."
You have a better time trying to drink out of that glass right there on the floor than trying to settle or bring Rob to the table. And I love, like, it at that point, Tywin was actually like,
you know what? That's a good point. And that was some incredible presentation.
And the sad thing, though, is that it's because he's the only son he has.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, no, like, he genuinely thinks there's a chance he'll never see Jaime again. He's like, you know what? I gotta make do with the situation I have, and what I have is Tyrion. So, I'm gonna be okay with it for now. Because this is the nicest he is ever to Tyrion.
Yeah. Like,
in his life.
Yeah, he literally, like, you are my son. And Tyrion was like, what
you have never said that.
He's like, what is happening here? Like, damn, I just gotta be more smart around my dad now. You know?
Damn, I knew I was smart, but he didn't know I was smart.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I just got into strategy, like, you know, a little bit ago, whatever. You know, I'm kind of tampering with it. Dad, yeah, you know, I'm kind of all about, you know, I'm kind of smart. What's up?
Good at the game.
Yeah, like,
but,
poor Tyrion.
Poor Tyrion. But they point out that the Lannister army is now exposed, so Tywin's like, we're going to retreat to Harrenhal. Which we do see next season very quickly. It won't be long before we're in Harrenhal. But reluctantly impressed by Tyrion's astute judgment of the situation, Tywin orders him to go to King's Landing. And Tyrion's like, why on earth would you have me do that? And he's like, well, you're going to serve as hand to the king in my stead. And he's like, that is the last thing I expected you to say.
Mm-hmm. He said rule. First, like, he said rule. Like, he knows that, like, Joffrey is not. He has his, you know, his indulgence. You know, he indulges in his fun and his power. But as far as, like, the actual big realm decisions, it's Cersei and Tywin and,
yeah,
you know, it's not Joffrey. It's the council and all of them. So, like, I don't know, it is very, very out there that Tywin does this, you know. And it makes sense because, you know, it is his only son. It is, like, the play that he has to do right now strategically for the war. Put a Lannister in power. Now it's your only son that you got.
Yeah.
Go be hand of the king. Okay. So it's kind of like his hand is forced, but
Yeah, he's like, as long as I'm at war, I need someone else there. Because as soon as he's not, he comes back and serves as hand of the king. But, he says he's to control Cersei and Joffrey and prevent the young king from making more idiotic mistakes and kill anyone who tries to be a traitor. Baelish, Varys, Pycelle, any of them. Tywin also orders him, do not take that whore to court. And later on in his tent, Tyrion complains about his father to Shae, saying that he was very specific, that he can't bring her to King's Landing. And she goes, did he know my name? He said, don't bring Shae to court. I believe the word whore was used.
Damn.
And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, come on. This one, just how different and easy life would have been if Tyrion decided, you know what? I shouldn't bring her to court. Because I'm not going to lie. I like Shae. Now, I only like Shae now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not really learning his lesson from last time. Like, last time that he fell in love instantly with somebody that he got with, it didn't turn out the best. And now he fell in love with someone because he thought he was going to die the next day in battle, but he didn't, and then he just continued.
Well, and I also don't even think this man's in love yet.
Yeah.
I think he's just like, fuck it. I like having sex with you. You're fun. We can talk. Let's do this.
He likes the idea of having control still. Like, he doesn't want to just
and it's a fuck you to his dad. He's always going to have a fuck you to his dad.
Yeah, he can't just fully agree with everything his dad says. He still got to have some degree of control over his life.
Yeah, well, comes back to bite him in the ass big time.
Eesh. Yeah.
But that concludes the story in the Riverlands and brings us to our second to last location of the episode, the Wall, where Jon Snow has learned of his father's passing. And he saddles a horse and is ready to go join Rob's side. He's like, you know what? That's it. I'm leaving. And Samwell is just fucking adorable. No, I won't.
I'm not gonna let you go. No.
I'm not doing it. No, I won't. And then Jon just plows right through him with the horse, which is hilarious. And he leaves Castle Black, but is pursued. He ducks under a tree branch, and one of his pursuers is then unhorsed by this same branch, and it turns out it's Sam. And Jon's like, son of a bitch, I can't just keep going now. And he turns back to help him, and the other riders are Gren and Pip, and they're giving Sam some shit, And you're lucky you got so much padding, Like, is he the way when he's riding off? Is he dead?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. No, he's not dead. Yeah,
that's so funny. But they surround him. They're like, you can't go, man. And he's like, I have to. Like, they killed my dad. I need to be with my brother. Sam's like, we're your brothers now. And they begin reciting their oath to the Night's Watch, to which Jon initially responds, go to fucking hell. And then by the end of it, he's like, God damn it. Okay.
Fuck. You guys are right.
Leaving.
Whatever.
Yeah, leaving would make him a deserter and an oath breaker, something his father would never be okay with if he were alive. And Jon doesn't even know if he would accept his help if he were to come back. And he agrees to return to the Wall with them.
And he's got to take advice from Aemon. Maester Aemon as well. He's got to live with the decision that he made, taking the vow. And
he does. All the way up until he dies.
Yeah, he does have to die, to get there. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. That until what's the vow? I mean, it's like until death, or like until the day I die.
Yeah.
So, fair enough. He under
died.
contract. If it were to be taken to court,
law.
if it were to be taken to court, John wins.
Easy.
So, yeah. Dude is not an oathbreaker whatsoever.
Not one bit. But the next morning, Lord Commander Gior Mormont is like, hey, John, how you doing, buddy? And he's like, could you sleep last night? Did you sleep good? Must have been tough with that late night excursion you took, huh? And John's like, no, and he's like, don't worry. If we executed everyone who did that, fled for a night, there'd be ghosts guarding the wall. And he's like, at least you did it for a good reason. At least you weren't out whoring. You weren't getting your fuck on down somewhere else, Honor made you leave. Honor brought you back. And he's like, it was them who brought me back. And he's like, I didn't say it was your honor. It was someone else's. But then he tells Jon that the war between the Lannisters and the Starks is less important than the war they face. The threat of the wildlings, the White Walkers, and more. And Mormont means to lead the Night's Watch force into the haunted forest to learn more about what's coming, to prepare for a battle, and then find Benjen Stark, alive or deid. And
This was kind of sick. Yeah, he's like...
This was hype.
Yeah, he's like, we're going to go. I'm going to lead an army.
Done, he's like, I'm done waiting on my fucking ass at the wall. We're going to go fight out there.
That fight down there, nothing. And the thing is I think he's right. So, 100%. Like, it's even more hype. So it's like, no, dude, you are right. He's like, yeah, and we're going to find Benjen. And it's like, fuck yeah. It's like, I know you're not. It's gonna be a long time for that guy to show up
this
again.
This is gonna kill you.
But whatever. But it's like, fuck yeah, dude. This is like, hell yeah. Way to not just take your oath and just wait out your days at Castle Black, just leading everybody and getting all your, nice food.
And the way that he rides out of frame and it reveals Jon behind him whenever he gave him the choice. He was like, either you go fucking south and you're a deserter, or you stay here and you're a man of the Night's Watch. And it reveals him, and the music swells, and you're like, fuck, that's King of the North! The King of the North!
Oh, eventually we will get there.
That's that's 5 season finales away.
Oh, man. The other King in the North.
The other King in the North. But that does conclude the story at the wall and brings us to our final location across the narrow sea in Essos.
Bum bum.
In the wasteland beyond Lazar. Daenerys is waking up and is curious. Where's my son? Bring me my son. And Jorah has the unfortunate duty of informing her that her son never lived. He was born dead and deformed, and Miri Mazdur informs her he was covered in scales like a lizard, with wings like a bat. And as soon as she touched him, his skin fell to bones. Ugh. And
she gave birth to a dragon.
Yeah.
Well,
the concept art for the stillborn baby that Rhaenyra had, in the dragon, was
very similar. Yeah, didn't have wings. Rhaenyra's didn't. I don't think. Right? It's just kind of scaly.
Yeah,
I think. But super interesting. This Targaryen dragon connection, blood magic, whatever it is, it's so interesting. Just some can't get burnt, some can, some dragon eggs, it's like a 50-50 if they're even born. Daenerys, all fucking 3. Something had to, there's something special about, cause that's the thing, is Daenerys also had this spell go on at the same time of because in the tent,
Life for a life.
in the tent was her son, called Drogo. The eggs were in the tent as well, right? During this whole thing?
I guess. I'm not sure.
Pretty sure. Pretty sure they're in that tent. So it's like, everything's in this tent during whatever the fuck spell's going on. Like, I don't know. I think there's like, I don't think that like Daenerys' situation necessarily applies to like the rest of the Targaryen lore, if that makes sense, you know? Like,
No,
I think
yeah,
she's
there's
a
definitely
pretty
something
special
specific
circumstance.
about
Yeah.
her. Yeah. I think there's definitely something special specifically about her, but I don't know that this spell does more than kill her kid.
You think? You think it's just nefarious? Like, it's simply like, well, this is what you wanted, life for life. I can kill both your kid and your husband, so like, I'm gonna do
that's
it.
what she literally explained. That's what she aimed to do.
Yeah,
and
that's
she
true.
did. Beyond that, I do think that there's probably some sort of other blood magic that happened with the Targaryens at some point that bonded them to dragons.
Ooh, life for life. Khal Drogo died. The kid died. And the witch died. Because, yeah, the horse. But the witch also died. Like, sacrifice, and then 3 dragons come back. I guess Daenerys, she didn't die. She just was unburnt. So, like, she didn't die at all. So, like, I guess the witch, Khal Drogo, and the son. There you go. Life for life. That's how the dragons all came back. Fuck it.
There you go. But yeah,
I guess I'm jumping ahead a little bit.
Just a bit. But I mean, that's the big thing we're building towards, obviously. Yeah, she's like, hey man, yeah, your baby died, but Drogo lives. Let's go take a look. How about it? Daenerys insists on seeing her husband and finds him in a catatonic state. Homie has become veggie, Khal Drogo.
Yeah.
And Daenerys demands to know why, and Mirri Maz-Dur explains that, you know, a life for a life. He's alive, is he not? And she asks her why she did this, and she explains, you know, I saved you. And Mirri's like, yes, when you saved me, I had already been raped 3 times. The temple I served at had already been burned and defiled by the Dothraki. They sacked my village, looted all that I owned, people I'd healed. I witnessed dead in the streets. I've now gotten my revenge. And she's like, but my kid, he was innocent. Your kid was the stallion who would mount the world. Now he will burn no cities. He will slaughter no innocents. And
he was spitting right here.
Yo, if Daenerys isn't centered as a protagonist, which she is, you view, and like, frankly, I view this woman like she did some fuck shit. But if the shit that happened to her was done unto Daenerys and she was in the position to do these things, I'd go, fuck yeah, honey, do that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, she does that. She actually does that, and we root for that, and we're like, hell yeah. We're like, oh yeah, you got revenge, and I'm so glad that you did. Or sometimes it's not even revenge. Sometimes it's just outright like, I'm Daenerys fucking Targaryen, and you think you can talk to me? Alright, here's my dragon that can breathe fire. You're dead now. And we love that shit.
And
So,
I think that this is the first example of her being a little cruel beyond the bounds of what she probably should be. You know, like, it is personal. You know, it's one of those things Tyrion's talking about. Oh, they were terrible people. Who could blame her? This woman killed her son. Of course she's going to do that.
Killed her son and basically Khal Drogo too. Like, took her last, like, wish, being like, please, just do anything to save him, and then just turned it into like, alright, let me kill both of them.
But with fantastic reasoning.
Yeah. I mean, fully justified on her end, but like, Daenerys sees that as like, oh, you're nothing to me now. Like, you are. Yeah, Daenerys sees that as like, I will tie you up and burn you alive.
Yeah, no doubt. I have no complaint. I completely understand where Daenerys is coming from, but I think that's how we could always view Daenerys. So you can always completely understand where she's coming from. It's just a matter of whether or not she should have done it. And this one is on the lower end of that spectrum. It is more, of course she does that. Of course, like that makes a lot of sense. And like, she does, crazy to say, far worse things than this. Than burning a woman at the stake, alive.
Yeah, and even being like, "Oh no, I will hear you scream," just like the she was so
But
cruel.
That's not what I'm looking for. I just want your life.
Yeah,
that's all.
That's okay. Oh, that's okay. I'll still hear you scream, but I really just want you to die. Really, at the end of the day,
Miri tells her, you agreed. I agree. You did save my life, but let me show you what life is worth when all else is gone.
Damn. Straight analogy. Like, I mean, slam dunk with that one. It was like, yeah, this is how I feel right here. And you're like, damn.
So Miri decides, I'm going to kill this guy and I'm going to kill the baby in your tummy because I've lost everything I care about. What happens when Daenerys loses Missandei and loses Jorah and Jon decides that she's probably not that interested in her? She does what she's capable of on a much grander scale and does what Miri Maz-Dur did here.
I don't want to be Queen of the Ashes, though. But when all else is lost.
When everything else is gone. When my life is worth nothing to me because no one else is there for me. Hey man, it was fast, but it makes a lot of sense. It really does. And this line, when I heard that, I was like, oh fuck. That's like an operative thesis for the end of her show, for the end of her storyline. Like, let me show you what life is worth when all else is gone.
She really did have no one other than her dragon. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
She had Drogon.
2 dragons dead.
That's about it. Is there anyone that's still on her side at that point? Anyone?
Jon's still on her side, but not in the way she wants him to be.
Yeah,
Tyrion had betrayed her the night before and freed Jaime. Varys had betrayed her the day before and she burned him. Like, the only person still on her side is Grey Worm because he loved Missandei.
Yeah, she's right to be like, all right, now I burn it down. I got Grey Worm.
Like, it's not.
Right, now I burn down the 7.
It's the same argument with Miri Maz-Dur. It's not the right thing to do. You probably shouldn't have done it, but goddamn, I can't blame you.
Yeah.
It's just something. It's just something. There's something there. But come that night, Daenerys is in the tent tending to Drogo, bathing him and talking to him. But nothing reaches him, and Jason Momoa just acting his ass off here. Let me tell you, the little cross-eye thing he's got going on.
I swear they had to have laughed. Like, there's no way they did this just like first take while Jason Momoa, like Emilia Clarke, I could not hold it together. Like, I don't know.
That is why Emilia, like, this scene and then her speech is why Emilia Clarke as Daenerys Targaryen gets the performance of the episode.
That's what I'm like, the 2 slots were empty for me. Like, character and performance. It's because I was trying to see if Daenerys was beaten in either of them.
I don't think she is, man.
I think she's both.
I think she has to be. Like, the only character I will hear out coming close is, like, maybe Robb, but even Robb doesn't do anything. It's what the other people do to him, you know, like
Cat, maybe. Like
Cat, yeah. But they're not Daenerys in this episode.
It's Daenerys. It's just Daenerys. Like Daenerys is the character
and performance for me.
And it's just both. Yeah, it's
because the way she just breaks here, realizing he's no longer there, and continues to talk to him. She sobs, kisses him goodbye, and then smothers him with a pillow. Like, yo, this is some intense shit right here. And then she's like, you know what? Let's get it. Build this fucking pyre. Let's have a funeral for Drogo. A bunch of the Khalasars already left. You know, a cow that cannot ride is no call. And she makes a speech to the few who are left, saying that if they wish to go, they may, but if they stay with her, she will lead them into a glorious future. She says that she sees slaves and they are now free. If they stay as equals, brothers and sisters, husbands and wives. We will love one another. We will be a family. And some people begin walking away, and Miri kind of giggles. And I love that Ricardo stayed behind. I fucking love Ricardo. Just a random Dothraki was like, you know what? I fuck with Daenerys, and I fuck with Khal Drogo. These are my guys. I'm going to stick around. Like, I thought that was so fucking cool.
At that point, yeah, it's like, you know, she's gonna light this on fire and probably, like, I think, because Jorah had the idea, definitely. That's like, he's like, I'm not gonna let you do this. Like, I'm not letting you, come on. And then she's like, okay, you got nothing to worry about. But, like, I think everyone kind of had that idea, that it's like, okay, she's probably gonna do this. So, like, I think a lot of people were like, well, I just want to stick around to see just what happens here. Like, I feel like half the people are like, okay, you know what? Like, I do fuck with your ideology, and like, I like that. But then I feel like the other half are just like,
well,
I think
and
she's
like
gonna kill herself here.
Dothraki, Ricardo, I think he's truly found kinship in a few of them. Like, he's the one that was sitting outside the tent with Jorah earlier, where they were like talking about their fathers and how they previously fought. And like, he's the one who, when Daenerys fell over, he picked her up and was like, none of the midwives will accept her. They say she's hurt.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's the only one who's like been there for them. And I don't know if that's out of loyalty to Drogo or if that's because he feels he's found kinship in these new people. But regardless, he's still there, which I think is awesome. He's the one who places the dragon eggs on the pyre. And Miriam Mazdur is lashed to a pillar of the pyre as well. And she tells Daenerys that she will not scream while she is burned alive, which is a bold statement.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone alive. Like, you have to have the condition of no pain. Like, you have to literally have that.
You have to be a monk.
Yeah. I don't think it's, I don't even know if a monk could do it. That's still, that'd be incredible. No real way to really test that. I guess there is, but
there is. Setting yourself on fire and seeing if you scream. There's no way to live through it to see the results.
Yeah. Teach a man how to light a fire, light a man a fire, keep him warm for a night, but light a man on fire and keep him warm for the rest of his life. I don't know, that's probably one of the worst ways to go.
Ooh.
Either that or drown. It's literally water or fire. Like, drowning or burning to death.
Hell.
That sucks so bad. Both ways. But Daenerys doesn't give a fuck about that. She's like, oh, that's what you're worried about?
You will scream, but that's not what I want. I just want you to die. Frankly. And that's exactly what I'll get. And Ser Jorah's like, come on, Dany, you don't need to do this. Don't kill yourself. please reconsider. We can sell the eggs and travel far away. You don't need to do this. She's like, these are not mine to sell. He's like, come on, babe, please don't do this. Don't do this. I don't want you to. And then she's like, all right, Jorah. All right. I'll give you a little kiss on the cheek. You'll be okay with it. And he's like, okay. And then she doesn't walk into the pyre yet. They set the pyre on fire and then she walks in, which I was like, oh, that's pimp. Her dress starts catching on fire as Miri is screaming from the burns. She's enduring the same thing and is just marching on forward. And she stands below the pyre as flames appear to consume her. And come the morning, the fire dies down, and Jorah and the rest of the Khalasar were just sleeping around the fire. And they
I love how it's just like, all right, yeah, it's like the next morning now. Everyone just kind of went to bed after that. You know, she walked into the fire and we kind of just laid down.
They're like, all right, guys, let's sleep good.
Man, this is a warm fire. I'm kind of tired. I guess
I'm feeling kind of toasty.
And then they woke up and
just lay down here.
They had to think they were still dreaming.
Yo, and they didn't even set up camp. They just fell asleep where they were standing.
Yeah.
Which is the funniest part of it all to me.
Just right there.
Even Jorah, that's the one that really confuses me. He strikes me as the type of guy who would have stayed up all night for this. But it's a better effect if they don't see the aftermath.
It is a weird thing to think about now. Yeah,
that they wake up at the same time.
Because, oh my god, what a thing to wake up to. Yeah. Like, to be like, okay, I have to be dreaming. Like, you would wake up and look at me over there, like, huh.
Ian Glenn's performance when he sees Daenerys and is like, oh, blood of my blood. Like, holy shit.
What is blood of my blood? What is that equivalent? Like, what is that the equivalent of saying? Like, is he just being like, is it basically holy fuck in Game of Thrones? Like, or what is he like?
In it's a Dothraki culture thing. They say blood of my blood. And I think it's like I'm going to follow you to the ends of the fucking earth.
Okay.
Like, you are my call now. Like, kind of. Or my Khaleesi, as he only refers to her from here on in as Khaleesi.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if I, woke up, walked over to the fire pit, saw 3 dragons and
it's not just that you survived the fire pit, bro. It's that there are 3 fucking previously thought extinct species crawling on her.
With perfect dramatic timing in the connection. If the headcanon connection that we have, where it's like,
Daenerys was like, all right, so someone's going to walk up.
Yep.
And you're going to come
crawl my back. You're going to crawl my You're going to stand up and show them how tall you are. You're going to spread your wings. You're going to give them
not going to screech a single time before that, though. You are not going to wake them up. They will wake up on their own, and it will so happen to be all at the same time.
Yeah. Drogon executed perfectly. Dude killed it. Dude's already the favorite child.
The favorite child.
So, but yeah, no, I put that as my favorite scene. I figured
that would be a favorite scene.
I labeled it as just her name right now. I think is because her name grows so much. Right now, she is Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen. I gave her the Unburnt title. She hasn't been called it yet, but this is what makes her the Unburnt.
Yeah.
And then she is the Mother of Dragons as well as Khaleesi. So that is her current name right now, and it will only grow as the Breaker of Chains will be added, I believe.
Well, she's already freed some slaves in that scene just prior. Okay. She's like, I see some slaves, you're freed.
That's true. Maybe already the Breaker of Chains. But I give the Unburnt and the Mother of Dragons.
Yeah, that's fair. She goes on to break a lot more chains.
Yeah. So, Yeah, and her being the character and performance, she kind of dominated this episode, which I guess
All
makes
fire
sense.
and blood.
It's what I remembered out of the episode. You know that it's what I remembered I was going to get, but I think it is the strongest part of the episode for that. I mean, that is why I remember it, because it is just such a badass moment in this show. Like, it's one of the biggest moments in the show's history. So,
and this episode did bring us, obviously, a few deaths. Miri Mazdur, Khal Drogo. Brought us a lot of first appearances. We got Drogon, Viserion, and Rhaegal. Obviously. Big ones right there. We got Hot Pie. And then the Sleeper, who it's a blink and you miss it sort of thing because he's wearing a different face.
Yes,
Jaqen H'ghar.
Yes, in the cage. Yes, I remember the focus on him because I'm like, why'd they focus on this guy? And then like as I'm like, why'd they focus? I was like, oh,
hey man,
yeah, so
hey
like,
man, and it's in King's Landing, which does not hurt the theory. Which does not hurt the theory that Syrio Forel could be the Faceless Man. Doesn't hurt the theory at all.
Oh, dude, he totally just ran out of that room, threw off his face, put on a different one, hopped in a cage. Because he looks at Arya. He literally, his eyes follow Arya. It's definitely the Faceless Man, that's for sure. Like, no way. Like,
oh, it is Jaqen
like,
H'ghar.
Yeah, like, no way.
Jaqen H'ghar is Syrio.
Which, it's 100% without a doubt factual.
We will talk about it as though it is fact.
At the end of the fight, you hear metal clank and hit the ground.
Amen.
There's only one guy holding a metal sword in there during that fight.
I love the theory. I love that theory. And the fact that Jaqen H'ghar makes his first appearance in King's Landing right after. Amen.
It's not even a theory. It's just fact at this point. It is. It is known.
It is known.
It is known that Syrio is the Faceless Man.
It is known.
Sorry, it is known that the Faceless Man appeared as Syrio. More correctly.
But do we have any favorites to dole out?
Let's see. I think all of mine there. If you're going with Daenerys and Emilia Clarke as well, you said King of the North was your favorite scene, and Sansa. If you're sticking with it, maybe he'll bring me yours.
I loved that.
Boom.
That's such a
Boom.
like. It's Sansa's done giving a fuck. It's when Sansa starts taking the steps towards being the character who we grow to really love. Because obviously, up to this point, she's been less than the most likable character around.
Yeah, she's only been annoying, and the true treasoner. Yeah, I won't do any treason. I love that line. I won't do any treason.
Stupid girl.
But yeah, like she's the one who really betrayed her house as of right now. But now I am. Yeah, no, she's just been manipulated. It's all just manipulation, and it's like, it's not her fault. She just so happens to also be a little annoying at the same time. Like, her talking to, head Ilyn? What's the title? Her title.
The Septa.
Septa, yeah. Oh, another spike, or head on a spike up there. Sad. Next to good old Georgie up there. No, but yeah, that was like Sansa just being an absolute dick to her for no reason.
There's a saying in King's Landing. I know it's in Texas. It's probably in King's Landing. It goes, "Fool me once, shame on you. Befool me can't get fooled again."
Befool me, get your head on a spike next to Ned Stark, you know, and Septa,
ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah, that's insane. If they actually tried to put George W. Bush's head in the show on a spike and then had to CGI over it. That is nuts. Like, I make this the greatest episode of television.
Article from the Guardian. Article from the Guardian, June 14th, 2012. Head of State, Game of Thrones sorry about decapitating George W. Bush. HBO is groveling for mercy after airing a grisly scene starring the head of George W. Bush. They didn't CGI it out. It is there.
Is it still there?
I think it might be. The former president's noggin shows up shish kebabbed on a barbarian spike in a scene from the chainmail and boobs medieval fantasy series, Game of Thrones.
I love that boobs is a descriptor word of Game of Thrones at this point now. No way. Wait a minute. Okay, so that's like at the beginning of the episode, kind of. Right?
Yeah, they said, we are sorry this happened and we will have it removed from any future DVD production. And he doesn't appear short-haired. He has long hair, and it's just the side of his face. And it looks like he's on the end. I doubt they probably scrubbed him out by now.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm looking at it now. It doesn't look like you can see him at all. Unless he is the one just at the very end. You can see the little gray hair.
Yeah, I don't even know how well you'll be able to see this, but that's it.
Oh, wow. So, okay, yeah. So yeah, you can't really tell at all.
No, yeah, they hit it hard, but you could tell from like the mouth and the nose, it's George Bush.
That's hilarious.
It's outstanding, is what it is. But
they had the balls to be like, yeah, well, I'm gonna put the president's. Is that the current? Wait a minute.
No, Barack Obama would have been president.
Oh, okay. So literally, wow.
It would have been one president previous.
Like putting Donald Trump's head on. That's probably actually been done, though. Donald Trump's head on a spike many times without any problem at all.
Yeah, right. Probably.
The difference that 10 years can make.
No, yeah, you could probably get away with that now and just be like, it's freedom of speech.
And it would anger the shit out of half the people, and then the other half would be completely okay.
Yep.
So, as it normally goes, as today.
Yeah, but I think with that just leaves us with rating the episode, and then are we going to go ahead and rate the season overall?
I think we shall, yeah. Or if we want to declare favorites of the season, I guess we should rate the episode first.
I like that.
Probably get the episode done first, but then maybe get our favorites of the season down before we rate it.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. Then let's start by rating the episode. As far as enjoyment is concerned, I don't know that I'm at a firm 10 with this one.
Yeah, there is some hesitation. It's not like, oh, this one's a 10. Like the moment, the end is like, okay, wow, epic. One of the best of all time. But like through the whole episode, it's like, okay, wow, we're really building towards something, but I'm not getting the instant satisfaction of the episode.
Yeah, the King of the North. Great scene. Scene. I think this is probably in that 9.5 range, 9.25 even.
Okay, I like 9.5 puts it on the same as like a golden crown and the pointy end. I mean, yeah.
These moments are massive. I love it.
Yeah, it's not. I like that. It's not a 10, but it's pretty damn close. Because there's not really like a down part of the episode. We're like, oh man, this is dragging on and I hate this. It's like, it's just kind of like, holy shit, I just got King of the North, and then I'm hype, and then it's like, it's a whole different type of episode, kind of, because it is, most of it is just preparing for next season.
Right.
So they just had to kind of write, how do you write a complete story for the single episode that also has to have a cliffhanger at every storyline, you know, like, yeah, they have to have a cliffhanger at every location. Like a cliffhanger at the wall, a cliffhanger at King's Landing, a cliffhanger, or not a cliffhanger, but like they're leading off to do X, you know, or whatever. So, but yeah, I think 9.5 is fair though here for enjoyment.
Genre wise, are we sitting here with another 10?
I mean, this is just like, that's the thing, is that like it is, the genre is like, it's Game of Thrones. How good of Game of Thrones is it? If this is like just television as fantasy drama, it's a 10. Like that's the thing, is that is this just a 10 in Game of Thrones standards is like what it is, you know.
Right.
As far as television goes, I don't know how you can get much better than this genre wise, just how well the world building is done, because that is what this episode does, is world build the hell out of it and set you up for war next season. So yeah,
War
I think
brewing, dragons are born, a king in the north is declared.
I mean, yeah, I don't think I don't have any hesitation here. With not giving it a 10, just giving it a 10.
I'm in.
Okay. Well, this one is interesting critically.
Yeah, it's a solid story over the course of this episode, with Daenerys specifically. I like Jon's arc. Very succinct arc that he has. Gonna leave? Nope. Honor brings me back. I like what Rob goes through.
Yeah, kind of writes itself in a way, this episode does. And I'm trying to think, like, the best episode of this season, critically, and rating wise, it was last, like, was written so well, like, just everything was firing on all cylinders, and like you knew it was like, oh, that was just well fucking made.
It was beautiful.
This one was
very
just
good looking.
This one was good looking. Like they had some, like it
was good looking, but
shots.
It wasn't as good looking as last week, and I would argue it wasn't as well written as last week. It was a solid episode, but it wasn't anything jaw dropping. And solid is probably a little not nice enough. It is a good episode of television. This is a fantastic season finale. It's very good, but it's not perfect by any means or close to it. I go probably right around a straight up 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that's where I was. I didn't think like 8 was like okay. Like I'm kind of polling if I'm like starting to go into the 8 range. But 9, like 2.5, like that, I don't know, that did seem kind of even high. But yeah, that puts it, I don't know, that would average it out to a 9.5 overall for the episode, which I think makes a lot of sense. Puts it just a little bit below a Golden Crown, which is at a 9.58, so basically like a 96, and this was a 95.
It still makes it a top 3 episode of the season.
Yeah. Which I think makes sense. Let's see. IMDb gives this one a 9.4. So we're even more harsh critically than IMDb, but I think a lot of people just give this a 10 out of 10 because it's the season finale of Game of Thrones season 1. Rotten Tomatoes also gives it 100%. The top critics average rating is a 9.1 actually there, so a little closer to our critic rating.
All right.
So
and on the season, that makes our ranking of them as far as rating is concerned. At the top, best episode of the season 1, episode 9, Baelor. That got a 9.83 on our rating scale. At second, we have got a Golden Crown, season 1, episode 6, at a 9.58, so a 96%. At third, we got the season finale, Fire and Blood, at a 95, a 9.5. At fourth, we have got, looks like The Pointy End, season 1, episode 8, at a 9.42.
Then a tie.
And then a tie for fifth with episode 5 and 7 at a 93. Follow
And
that
then another tie.
with another tie between episode 4 and 1 at an 88. After that, episode 2, The King's Road, and the bottom episode of the season, the worst of the season, season 1, episode 3, Lord Snow, at a 77%.
Don't worry, John, you get a lot better. Your title episode might be the worst of the season, but it was part of one of the greatest seasons of television ever. So the worst episode of the season is also it's not actually bad.
By any means. By any means.
So
77 is a good, a solid episode. That is more accurately solid.
Hey, I would have taken a 77 on my English paper. I'll tell you that. That would have been a great improvement.
That'd have been nice.
So, but yeah. Ooh, now I'm thinking of like favorites of the whole season here, and I don't know. This is tough to not go Ned and Sean Bean because like we never get him again. And like, holy shit, Ned was so much cooler on this rewatch, like his investigation.
Oh, fantastic.
So I'm seeing if anyone beats Ned.
I am 100% Ned Stark for character of the season.
Okay.
The performance is the only one that I get kind of up in the air on, and I'm like, the only one that gives him a run for his money is the one that I gave the most other performance nods to, and that's Emilia Clarke as Daenerys Targaryen. I think she had to provide a great deal of range over the course of this season. But I think Sean Bean had a bunch of just subtle nuance in his performances, you know, like I always come back to his death scene when he realizes he's going to die. And he's just looking around like, oh my God, like this is it.
Yeah.
Heart-wrenching.
That is tough. We both have equal amounts. You've given Sean Bean 2 nods and Emilia Clarke 2. I've given each of them 3.
Damn, that didn't make things easier, huh?
And it's like, yeah, that is tough. And the other one, I think honorable mention to Peter Dinklage for the comedic like performance. What, you know, like he brings such a light to that character that is so good. But I have to go Sean Bean for.
I think I also have to go Sean Bean. I think I do. Now, picking your favorite scene from the season, that's a toughie. That is a toughie. Across the episodes, I picked the Feast at Winterfell in episode 1, Arya and Jon's goodbye in episode 2, Daenerys becoming a Khaleesi in episode 3, demanding her Khalasar to stop and bitching her brother for the first time, Jon and Samwell talking about their virginity in episode 4, Robert Baratheon and Cersei's conversation, you know, about holding the realm together. How long can hate hold a thing together? And I'm hard pressed to not go with the crown for a king. Khal Drogo killing Viserys. That's a top moment for me. That's an all-time moment of Game of Thrones.
This is tough. It is either the moment we just got done talking about, like the season finale moment. It's either Daenerys. And looking at my other favorite scenes, like Arya's first sword lesson, or I think it's just Daenerys. Like, out of my scenes that I have, Daenerys's is like the biggest. Like, nothing actually comes close to that, other than Ned's death, I guess.
Right.
Those two. Okay,
I don't love that.
I don't love that. It's a hard favorite. I'd rather walk away from season 1 thinking of Daenerys coming out as her badass self, and this is the start.
And you know what's funny is I know I picked the King in the North moment as the season finale, favorite scene, but I think my favorite scene of just like remembering season 1, it might be that. You know, like when I look back on season 1, it's that and Ned's death. That's what I remember.
I think I'm just switching is because I think my scene is Daenerys becoming the mother of dragons, and then my line is King of the North, King of the North. But your scene is the King of the North, but then have you decided on a line yet, I guess?
I don't know.
A line is mine the king? Yeah, my line is the King of the. That's just my line.
That's a great line. I think I'm going to go with there is only one God, and his name is death. And there is only one thing we say to death. Not today.
That's good. Okay. That's actually really good. I like that we have the King of the North and not today, because they both get called back to eventually. We'll get Jon being called King of the North. We'll get Robb being called the King of the North a lot more. And then we'll get Jon eventually. And then the not today. Like that's just such an easy callback one that they call back to a lot. So
my close second was a mind needs books like a sword needs a whetstone. I love that one.
That is good. I mean, I did have in Go Celibate the horse would go begging from Dorne to Casterly Rock. No, I just want to stand on top of the wall and piss off the edge of the world. That was one of the options from Tyrion that I had. So yeah, Tyrion had some bangers this season.
Peter Dinklage is so good.
Yeah. But wow. Now, geez. Okay. Now I guess we have to rate the entire season. How do you even do that? That's tough.
It's a tough job. It's certainly a tough job.
How do you do that? How did I enjoy this entire season? You know, as a rewatch, like,
I had a good time.
This was I'm watching with a different lens, I think, is the thing. And I'm a very close-up lens. You know, I'm looking at way more details, and I'm talking about it in just way more detail. I'm not just watching 3 episodes at a time and you know, just kind of blowing some things off.
However,
I
know I like seasons more.
That's the thing. We had to have those first, like, until episode 5. Like, they didn't hit their stride yet. We were like, man, they haven't really found who they are yet. You know, they haven't really hit that Game of Thrones feel. But then once they did, it was like, boom. You know, once we were there, we were in. But it did take that time, that ramp up to get there. So I think enjoyment overall, I think it's still pretty high, but I think it's like, honestly, like 8.5, 8.7, no, 9. Like, I think 8.75 or 9 is where I'm at, I think, for this.
My gut was 9, but I'd be even okay going 8.75. I do think 8.7, like, taking it below a 9 might be a little bit of a disservice to season 1. I think it kicked it off in such a nice, fun way.
Yeah, no. I think 9. 8 sounds harsh.
Yeah.
I think anything 8.
I think it's 9. And frankly,
I like that, yeah.
I'm left in a place where I think it might just be 9s. Like across the board.
Okay. Let's see.
Maybe genre-wise you can bump it.
Pretty freaking good. Let's see. Like, we gave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes a 10 out of 10 of this season. The other ones, there's 2 8s and a 9.25. So, like,
it'd be closer to a 9.75.
Yeah, I mean, they did that. That's the thing, is that, like, when it comes to fantasy and world building and drama, like, holy shit. Just the drama that Varys has alone, just the drama that Ned has alone, just the drama that Littlefinger has alone. Every character has enough drama in their own story that, like,
It could be a whole show unto itself.
No matter who you are, no matter what kind of viewer you are, you will pick at least one of those storylines to focus on and be like, I can't wait for this character to get back on screen. I can't wait to figure out what's going to happen next to this character. Right. And then it comes in a way that's not in a way that you thought at all. It comes through a completely different character, you know, and that's how the show works. It's so connected that you're hoping, like, I remember my first watch, like, I was obsessed with Littlefinger just because he's, manipulating and smart and, knowledge is his whole thing. Right. Now I'm focusing way more on Varys because it's like the same thing, but like way smarter and not filled with power lust. But like, yeah, like I remember like wanting Littlefinger to come back on screen. Like I would yes, now I want it. Like, what's he doing next? What's he spying on now? What's he doing? And like I love that about this show, and like no other show really does that. So like I think it's like 9.5, 9.75 is where
I think
I'm at.
9.75 is where I'm at. You look at the season as a whole, 7/10s, 7 out of 10. That's pretty strong. It's pretty strong.
Critically though, they did take a while, like enjoyment wise, I think it is fair to bring it up again. Like they did take a while to hit their stride. Those first few episodes, it is a new show. Like obviously they're not gonna know exactly,
all-time world building though.
So yeah, it's like this is regarded as one of the greatest seasons of television, and now watching it for my third or fourth time, I understand why. Like every time I watch it, I'm like, yeah, I get why this show is regarded as like one of the best of all time. I get why it cost this much to make.
Pretty damn good show.
It can't be a 10 is the thing.
No,
if it was a 10, I'd be like, it's a 10. Like
I'm closer to 9.
I don't know if I'm going like above 9. It's either like a 9 or a 9.25. I feel like for me.
No, and I think we go on the low end. I think we do. I think a 9 out of 10 is a very nice score. It's a very, very good season of television. I don't know that maybe the show eventually does have a 10 out of 10 season of television, but I also know it has better seasons of television. Like I want room. I know we have room to grow, and I know that this is a damn good season of television, so I'm comfortable giving it a 9.
Yeah. Yeah. That rounds it out total to a 9.25, which is pretty spot on. If I was just what do you think of season 1? I'm like, yeah, it's like a 9 out of 10 for sure. But it's pretty fucking good. So I'd give it like I feel like I'm comfortable with that.
Beautiful. So the first season comes to a 9.25 out of 10, which is a damn good season of television. And with that, we will conclude the first episode of Winter is Blooming. It was a hell of a way to kick off the new year, finishing season 1 of Game of Thrones. Fucking awesome. I loved it. Mm-hmm. I keep track of all the seasons of television I finish throughout the year. So the first one that got a nice little number 1 was Game of Thrones season 1, nice. January 1st, 2023.
That's good. It's a very nice start of the list.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But yeah, with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. If you're fucking with us, we also do a lot of Star Wars coverage, and we're specifically going to have a lot of Star Wars coverage for you this week. Rebellion's Bloom continues this Wednesday with round 3 of our Star Wars character draft and the Bad Batch 2-episode premiere. We will have 2 episodes of Rebellion's Bloom on Wednesday, and we are going to be joined by Kyler Barnett once again.
Let's go!
So excited to have the boy back. It's been too long. Can't wait to have him back on, so I'm excited for that. The Bad Batch is back, and with it, the Bad Batch bitches. This Friday, the comic book journey through film starts with Batman 66. It's been a long time coming. We've been talking about it for weeks now, months now. With the ending of the 52-year journey through film, Fridays will continue to be movie days here on the Penny Bloom podcast. And our journey through film comic book movie edition kicks off Friday with Batman 1966. So cue up HBO Max, go watch Batman 66, and then follow along with us for the next several years on that project. Every Friday for the next couple years, we're doing a comic book movie for you, and I cannot wait. We've already got so many of them recorded. So many great guests have come on to join us for the weeks coming up, and I just can't wait for you guys to hear it. Season 2 of Winter is Blooming kicking off next week. Super excited about that, and I cannot wait for you all to hear it. Can't wait for you all to hear it. But with that, if you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, including all sorts of comic book pull lists. I've been sick the past week, and we had Christmas the week before, so I'm a little behind, but I'm going to catch up. I promise. If you would, head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you are listening. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And the King of the North!